What's the creepiest display of intelligence you've seen by another human?
I had to learn collegiate-level German in the military in an intense 9-month course. We started with 15 people and graduated with only 6, it was brutal, and I barely made it through. The top student in my class was a regular guy from Indiana. Before German, he had already tested out of Spanish and Portuguese in just weeks. Not only was he fluent, but he could also switch dialects effortlessly, like going from Dominican Spanish to Spain's Castilian or between Brazilian and European Portuguese. Because language schools had set durations, the Defense Language Institute kept giving him more languages to study while waiting for his next assignment. He figured this out and started pacing himself, but halfway through German, he casually handed in a sci-fi book he had written, entirely in German. After German, they put him in Arabic. Then Farsi. Each of those courses is 18 months long. So, in the same 9 months I struggled through German, he had mastered Spanish, Portuguese, German, Arabic, and Farsi, including dialects, and even wrote books. Before joining, he said he only knew some Spanish from construction work but had never actually studied languages. His method? He translated English songs into his new language, not word for word, but how native speakers would actually say them. Dude was unreal.
When I was 12, my parents were constantly fighting, we were incredibly poor, and I had no real way to cope. So I'd ride my bike up and down the road, whispering my frustrations to myself, just an hour-long vent session while pedaling. Everyone probably thought I was crazy, but I was in great shape. One afternoon, I noticed an old man standing by his mailbox, whispering to himself. But it wasn't random, he made eye contact with me, deliberately making sure I noticed. I thought he was mocking me, so I stopped to talk to him. Nobody really paid me attention back then, good or bad. But this old man asked me why I did my daily ritual. I gave him a vague answer, something like, trouble at home. He nodded and asked a few mundane questions. Where would you like to live when you're older? Do you have any siblings? From just a few questions, he sized me up instantly. He somehow knew everything about me. Even figured out I was gay, something no one else knew. At the end of our conversation, he gave me some wise advice. Find a creative outlet. I never saw him again. And when I later described him to the people at that house, they had no idea who he was. I'm an artist today because of him.
I knew a woman who spent her entire life working in a pharmacy, counting pills day in and day out. One day, she glanced at a container of ibuprofen that was supposed to have 100 pills and immediately said something looked off. She recounted. There were 99 pills. Just one missing. My mind was blown.